Okay, guys, I'm not going to go over this in great detail because you've probably all heard it. It's been all over the news. It's about the Edmonton police shooting, a constable killed and another injured while executing a warrant. Okay, so I'm just going to go over some of the details, just a synopsis of the overall event. The story goes that police were executing a warrant for an individual who was wanted for hate crime. They arrived at the suspect's residence. They knocked on the door and they tried to breach the door, and the suspect apparently opened fire, firing over 50 rounds, according to the media, at the police, killing one officer, shooting him in the head, and shooting another officer in the back. Okay, this is the official narrative that's being pushed through the Edmonton Police and the media. Okay, so we're going to go over this and break it down here. Okay, so the officer who died was apparently Constable Daniel Woodall. He was 35 years old, according to the Edmonton Police, and who was one of 6 officers who were executing a warrant, an arrest warrant for criminal harassment, as part of a hate crimes investigation. Okay. Now, my first question would be, why did it take 6 officers to execute a warrant for a simple hate crime, when 2 to 4 officers would have sufficed? But anyways, that's kind of a, that's a minor detail. But still, it's a question that needs to be asked. The suspect was apparently out on bail, according to police. Now, my other question is, when the suspect opened fire, and apparently they claimed that over 50 rounds were fired, and pinned down police and killed the one officer by shooting him in the head, and the other one shooting him in the back. At this point, or even before this point, why was not SWAT notified and dispatched to the area? This doesn't make sense to me. There was no mention of SWAT being dispatched regarding this incident, and that seems extremely strange to me. When you have a suspect who opens fire, the first thing police should do is back off. And next thing they should do is evacuate the area. There was no mention of that either, of police going door to door evacuating the area, especially the area across the street where the neighbors lived. Okay, there was no mention of that anywhere in the media or by police. Okay, and that is routine. That should be done immediately. The other question I have is, if we go to this story this is the Huffington Post, by the way. If we go to this story, there was a witness apparently who lived in the area who claims he saw the whole shooting unfold. A man who calls himself Ryan. There was no surname attached to it. Now this may be to protect the witness, or it could be because, the witness is fictional and the whole event may be a false flag. Again, not saying that nobody died or nobody got injured. I'm just saying that there's usually an agenda behind some of these things, if it was a false flag. And that is, of course, to push gun control. But I'll get to that later. So I'm going to go on. So Ryan claims, this individual Ryan, who lived in the neighborhood, or was a neighbor, or whatever the case may be, they don't specify here. But he told radio station CHED he lives near the shooter and saw the situation unfold. Okay, in his words, quote, "I was on my back deck. I saw what I thought was a routine arrest," he said. They had 6 officers come over to do a routine arrest, which again, as I say, which is anything but routine. Usually 2 officers make an arrest, 4 usually at most. they only send 6 officers if the suspect is considered extremely violent. Anyways, they didn't know if he had any weapons in the house. And my question is there, how did this Ryan know that? How did he know that police were unaware that any weapons were in the house? That kind of bewilders me. And when they went to breach the door, that's when the fire started. Okay. And I'm assuming he's talking about the gunfire, or is he talking about the house fire? Doesn't really specify. Okay. And he goes into how the gunman fired on the 2 officers, hit one in the back. And he says, I helped the 1 officer, got him out to the side, and got him into the car. Now, unless this officer was able to walk still after being shot in the back, I find it hard to believe that this guy picked him up and carried him to the car. Could be. I mean, depends what kind of shape the guy's in. But anyways, let's move on. He got him into the car. He then claims the bullet was stopped by the officer's vest, but it did pierce through his skin. Okay, now exactly, they don't specify how he knew that. Did he remove the officer's vest? Did he see blood draining down the officer's vest, between the vest and the back? There's no description of how he knew that. Okay. The home was then soon engulfed in flames, billowing smoke. Okay. Ryan said the shooter was using a high-power rifle. Now I'm assuming he knew that, judging by the rapport of the rifle. And the suspect then set his house on fire while he was still inside. Okay. He claims that the guy is single with 2 kids. His wife left him a long time ago, Ryan said. He sits at home every day. He's an alcoholic and just snapped. Okay, now, I don't know how he knew that, but this is what he's claiming. Okay, so let's go on to the questions here. How did Ryan know it was a routine arrest? Okay, I kind of covered that. How did Ryan drag the officer to the car alone? I'd love to know that. How did Ryan know the bullet penetrated the vest? Well, we went over that. There's only a couple ways that you would have determined that. And my major question is, why did the mayor this morning bring up the question of the gun registry? Okay, now that really kind of bewilders me, because this suspect was out on bail, and any firearms he may have had in his possession would not have been registered, because criminals don't register firearms, because criminals aren't even allowed to possess firearms in the first place. Therefore, the gun registry would have been useless to determine whether the suspect had firearms in the house or not. If you are unaware of how the gun registry works, it was designed solely to target the law-abiding gun owners, and it was designed as a feel-good solution in 1995, brought forth by the Liberal government called the Firearms Act. And this was in response to the Polytechnic shooting, in which Mark Lepine shot 14 people allegedly in the Polytechnic massacre. And so the Liberals created the Firearms Act, which basically just made the law-abiding firearms owners register their long guns, which are rifles and shotguns, by the way. And as I said, criminals don't register guns because criminals aren't allowed to possess guns. So therefore, the mayor's assertion that the gun registry would have tipped police off whether this suspect had firearms in the house is totally bogus. and would have not been true whatsoever because, as I stated, criminals don't register firearms. Okay. So we're going to cover this incident more. We're going to follow this incident because there's still sketchy details being released, and there's still a lot of answers, still a lot of questions to be answered, I should say. And we've covered other false flags, and like the Moncton shooting, the Ottawa parliamentary false flag attack, which was designed to usher in Bill C-51, which is basically a U.S.-style Patriot Act, very Orwellian police state-style legislation. Okay. We also covered a lot of stuff in the States, the LAX, the Navy Yard shooting, the Elliot Rogers incident, the Cassidy Stay incident. So we've been doing this for a long time, and we've been breaking down these false flags for many years. And like I said, we're going to follow this one, and again, not saying that anyone didn't die or anyone got injured, and if so, our deepest condolences go out to the families. But there seems to be a political agenda behind this, and we saw this in Moncton as well with Justin Bork's lawyer coming out calling for the return of the gun registry. Again, it's the same old, pushing for a political agenda, and this is always the basis behind a false flag. To achieve a certain agenda, it's called problem, reaction, solution, or the Hegelian dialect, if you look that up. Anyone who studied the history of false flags throughout history knows that the false flag is always conducted with a political agenda in mind, and I feel this possibly just maybe one of them, one of many that we've covered over the years. So anyways, we'll keep following this up, and we'll see where it goes. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye bye.